Alright, this time around, we're going to do things a bit differently. First, as you can probably tell, I'm doing a sports game that's unusual as it is. But with a sports game, you really need two players to properly enjoy it. So without further delay, let me introduce Jers. Say hello, Jers.
Howdy, folks.
Jers is going to help me do this review the right way. And since it's a pitiful excuse of a sports game, I'm going to drag him with me to hell and back.
Wait a minute. I thought we were playing Madden. That's not bad.
Yeah, I know. That was just a lure to get you to play this with me.
Wait, what?
Exactly. Anyway, let me introduce this game. It's ABC Monday Night Football. Produced
No! I mean, yay!
It's
something.
It's produced by Data East in 1993. Due to this, it's a fairly early title in the SNES library, but we can't use that as an excuse to its vileness.
I have an idea. Why don't you stop talking about how bad this piece of shit game is and get a game going so we can actually, play it?
Quiet you, we're getting there. The first screen here shows the game mode options along with an announcer attempting to tell you to choose a game mode. There's 6 options, but for some reason 2 of them are unavailable.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. Why don't they just gray it out or something? Didn't they know how to program it right? Surely it couldn't hurt if been more gray or something.
More gray?
More gray.
More gray? How about black?
That would have at least made it stand out a little bit.
Wait, before you even get to the title screen, we have the fucking intro to even go over. Don't let the opening enthusiasm of this game fool you for a minute. It's clear that the actor responsible for doing the voiceover of "Yay!" was more enthusiastic and happy about having a fucking job to do that than you're gonna be happy after you've been done playing this game.
So true, but I moved on from that point, and so should you. Let's move on to the teams. You basically have the same cities that are in the NFL, but to avoid licensing, you don't have any team names. Instead, it's referred to as just a city with a generic, hardly noteworthy logo on each helmet.
Okay, so I take it you'll be playing as the Pittsburgh not Steelers. So I guess that leaves me with, well, I guess I'll take the Philadelphia Birds that aren't Eagles.
Is the bird the word?
Yeah, it's totally the word. I hate you so much. Did you really have to go there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyway, the game starts out as you can expect it. If you're playing a 2-player game, the first player always chooses during the coin toss. The only chance you get if you win is to receive or kick the ball. There's absolutely no wind effects, so it really doesn't matter which side you would pick.
Hey, you know what? Not to veer off track or anything, but now that you mentioned something about licensed team names, being absent and all in this title, it's just that, a thought crossed my mind in, regards to team names, and that is, well, I have a question. Let me just talk through this and let me get this through my head. So instead of putting the actual team names in there, they actually somehow managed to secure the licensing to at least put a big ass Gatorade logo right in the middle of the fucking field. Really?
Yep, I could go for a Gatorade right now.
But they didn't have the ability to obtain the licensing to use the NFL team names.
Apparently not, but you know what? What's even stranger is whenever there's a turnover, instead of just rotating the screen, it actually moves back to the Gatorade logo, spins there, and then moves back to where the ball needs to be spotted. Somebody's trying to give you some subliminal messaging.
Gatorade.
H2O.
Gatorade.
H2O.
So, I don't really want to, kind of keep going all over the place and stuff, but back to the coin toss, right? I just have a really big gripe to say about that. And I know through this whole thing so far, I've been pretty pissed off, and we haven't even really started talking about the game yet.
Oh, we haven't scratched the surface of this game.
Right. But here's my thing, right? The coin toss makes me incredibly nauseous. So much so that it makes me want to vomit. Almost as if, I took a shot of Kahlua after drinking a beer. That's just bad news.
You fucking drunk.
I'm
So
not.
anyway, let's get back to the gameplay.
I take offense to that.
Tough shit.
Okay.
Anyway, you mash B to kick the ball, either by a punt or a field goal. This is pretty simple, but the problem comes with the fact that you can't pick which direction you kick the ball.
I know. What is the deal with that?
I don't know, it's completely random. It seems to be a major oversight on the controls, but that's just the start with the controls and the gameplay issues. When it comes to receiving the ball, it's pretty simple. You once again just mash B to give yourself a slight speed boost.
Can we just call this game a giant fucking pile of button mashing mayhem?
It's pretty close to it. And by the slight speed boost, I mean hardly noticeable, as in it's not even worth mashing being breaking your freaking controller. What's worse is when you try to run sideways. You can run horizontally and vertically easily enough, but it seems that when you try to run on a slant, you're trying to move through quicksand and not AstroTurf. This occurs both on offense and defense. There is no advantage whatsoever. After returner is finally brought down, you get to finally choose a play. By choosing a play, I mean choose one of 8 plays. Fucking 8 total available plays. 4 runs and 4 passes.
Hey, at least they kind of, gave you half and half.
It's nice, but there should be more. It's a fucking football game, not just, alright, you run left, middle, or right. There should be a couple different, play actions or something. You do get access to what's called power plays, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah.
Choosing a play is simple enough, though. Thankfully. I mean, with 8 plays, it better be easy. You either choose an arrow or face button to pick what you want to do. Running is simple enough. You hike the ball, once again using B, and just run towards the end zone. Pressing either L or R will allow you to do a spin move to try and evade the defense. And surprisingly, it actually works pretty well. The main problem with the offense really falls into the passing side of the game.
Yeah, it's like, you go to throw it, and, well, here's the thing. Your receiver, sometimes they don't turn around. Why would they need to turn around, right? That's what you're probably asking.
Well, they're not getting paid to catch the ball or anything.
Right. So, they don't turn around to catch the ball. There is no throwing it over their shoulder. We've seen that in how many games we've watched over the years in the NFL, right?
A lot.
Okay, right? So, here's the thing that really got me, right?
Incomplete.
You overthrow the ball, or better yet, when you're running and the ball just, drops below the receiver, he then jumps for it. He jumps for the ball after it's already hit the ground. He should have jumped for the fucking ball when he was in the air, right? That's what you would think, right?
There's no logic in this game.
Well, guess what else? Here's the best part. While playing this freaking game, I hit the receiver in the wrong spot. You want to know where that is?
Where?
His hands! His hands! I hit him in his hands, and he drops the ball! Apparently, there is no bread basket! Because apparently, when you hit him there, it doesn't do any good!
Yeah, even if their hands were coated in super glue, they wouldn't have been able to catch shit. Half the time, the receivers will have gotten knocked down by the defense. You can't do anything about it, as there's no penalties that I've seen. This is probably a good thing, because there is a crap ton of holding and pass interference involved.
A whole lot.
Anyway, even when you do complete a pass, it seems like the receiver can only catch the ball when they stand still. There's no such thing as leading the receiver. What seems to be that more often than not, you'll miss the pass. So, now we move on to the ball physics.
Yeah, well, let me just note here with the missing the pass, right? How many times did the quarterback throw the ball, like here, and see how the receiver's in one spot, and he throws the ball almost, 10 yards over his head? There's not even an ability to control the strength of your pass. Not that, that exists in today's games, unless I think you play...
Every pass in this game is a freaking Hail Mary.
I mean, unless you play a game like... mistake me if I'm wrong, but the Madden version of Wii, that allows you to somewhat control because you're doing motion. There's literally just no good detection in this game, whether it's hit detection or whether you're passing the ball. It's like it's non-existent.
You know what else is non-existent? The fucking physics of the game. Oftentimes the ball will just bounce minimally or just roll away like it should. However, there's occasionally times where it'll just bounce upwards like it was on the fucking moon. And it's a complete crapshoot on whether or not it's going to fall back down.
Forget it.
Yeah, like even the best part. There's times where the fucking ball, right? You can throw it over the receiver's head, right? And it just bounces into nowhere. Well, it bounces up into the air and it either flies off camera or, better yet, it doesn't even come back down. How does a ball not come back down? It even defies the general laws of gravity. Apparently, I don't get how a ball one time can bounce so high up in the air that it goes off screen. A football doesn't bounce that high. Even when somebody misses a Hail Mary pass in the NFL, it doesn't go that high.
It doesn't even go that high when somebody punts the damn ball.
It seems to me like the developers were more focused on making sure that damn Gatorade logo was the focal point of the game. And between making a nauseating coin toss and trying to freaking put a Gatorade logo in the game, they kind of dropped the ball, pun intended, on the most important piece, the gameplay. It's not about a Gatorade logo. It's not about the coin toss. They focused on the things that mattered least to a gamer. And they missed the most important part of a football game.
There's no story involved. You don't have to worry about person A goes to save person B unless person A is the quarterback, person B is the ball, and person C is the enemy, and that's like the defense or something. Anyway, moving on. It took us a while to figure it out because we had no instruction manual in front of us. But if it's 4th and long, although it's not immediately obvious, you can punt the ball or go for a field goal.
Yeah, this is the best part.
Either way, you have to hit start to bring up the pause menu. That's right, you need to pause the game for your typical 4th down play options.
It's not even on the play screen when you first have it as a choice.
And here's another thing. There's no play clock. Without it, you can take as much time as you'd like to choose to play. The clock also doesn't run when you're lined up on the line of scrimmage. So, is there really a point to having a timeout option? The only time the clock actually runs is during a play. So even timeouts have no freaking use in this game. One other gripe about the offense is the punts. First, you can't properly position someone to be in place to capture the ball properly.
Nope, almost every single time it's going to go right over their heads. Then you got to run back and pick it up.
And because of this, the ball will usually fall just to the ground. When someone does finally reach it, they'll have to run it back. But because the game decides it wants to be a dick, it doesn't rotate the fucking camera!
Yeah, so you can't even really give an honest punt return because you have to press down and run at the screen, and you have no idea what direction the players are coming at. At the last minute, they're there and you're tackled.
Yeah, all the game does is force you to run blindly towards an angry group of guys that want the ball back. This also occurs in the rare chance there's an interception. This is just complete bullshit. There's no reason why you shouldn't be allowed to see where you're going.
Yeah, totally. Like that time you threw that interception with me. I had to run it back, and all I could do is press down. Although, to their credit, they do give you an indicator, a nice little yellow arrow, to warn you that somebody's coming. But here's the problem. You can't tell where they are.
There is no distance involved there.
Right, and also, if you think about it, well, I'll just run to the side because maybe the arrow is, directly at me, so I would run to the side. Yeah, forget about it. Remember the whole problem of running sideways in a football game? You don't think that people don't run diagonally or sideways in football? Well, apparently the creators of this game, they thought you didn't have to.
Moving on, defense works pretty much the same way as the offense. But, of course, your goal is reversed, and you have to prevent the other player from scoring. The only thing worth noting is that there's a distinct lack of a tackling animation. Most of the time, if you're tackled from behind, the player just falls down. If gored from the front, though, the offensive ball carrier is launched a few feet in the air and is pushed back usually 2 or 3 yards. This is utter bullshit as well. Why should you go back that far? And it's not like it's a rare occurrence, it happens all the time.
And besides, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you lose yardage.
You do, 2 or 3 yards, so you might have gained a yard on a decent run and, barely scrape out that yard. Oops, I got tackled, which is pretty inevitable for the most part. Oh, I just lost fucking half the yardage.
Oh, and while it may seem nitpicky, which it probably does, but if you have second and inches as a scenario, yeah. According to the game, you have second and 0 yards.
There's no inches. It's just, you have 0 yards, just make it a little bit and we'll give you the first down.
Which, thanks to that flying backwards bullshit, I went from having second and inches to 3rd and 8.
When you do manage to get a few points, you have got to notice the lackluster graphics of the end zone. First, each is just either red or blue. There's no such thing as a team-colored end zone. Second, players often don't run straight into the end zone. They touch the white line bordering it and just stop the dance. Fuck crossing that line. The players just act like it's a poisonous bog and condemns all that touches it. The only time it really looks like a player crosses an end zone is when using a power move. So, let's finally get on to those. Basically, each player is entitled to one passing and one rushing power move. They both act the same, except the passing player requires you to press one of the passing buttons. After catching it, both players must mash the B button once again to gain momentum.
Again, just a pile of button mashing debauchery.
If the second player can catch up and press Y to dive, they can interrupt the play, otherwise it's pretty much an easy touchdown. The running power play works in the same way, except it goes right to the momentum battles. It's actually a pretty neat little feature that the game includes, and it can turn it around quickly if successful.
Yeah.
I've pretty much touched on all the main gameplay elements, so let's move on to the sounds. It's cool that the ABC football theme plays in the beginning, but during play, a repetitive song plays during gameplay. In the huddle and at the line of scrimmage, it's eerily quiet. The game also features a few voiceovers, which are pretty impressive. Some of the grunts are pretty dull though, and that stupid cheer when our play is successful sounds like the guy who scored really just doesn't give a shit. Oh, and that whistle? Can we take away the plastic one and give the ref a real metal one? The one he uses is just plain pathetic and sounds more like a fucking kid's toy. So, is there really anything positive about this game?
Yeah, I got one. You know when they score a touchdown or whatever? And they have that little crappy screenshot of those three guys? At least they're wearing clothes.
That is a plus, and I'll move on to that in a second. Before that though, as I said, the voiceovers are actually pretty cool. There's also a random weather feature that I noticed in the second game I played. Starting in the second quarter, it just started to rain. I thought that was pretty cool. It's also an interesting idea to try to show how the fans are reacting. But, as Jared said, thankfully they're wearing clothes, but sadly the animations of those fans are severely limited. Cheering, they look normal, but when booing a bad play, some of them look less like they're frustrated and more like they're headbanging the Slayer. Rock on, angry guys. Rock on.
Yeah, that's right, because when my team misses a pass, the one thing I want to do is headbang.
Overall, ABC Monday Night Football isn't really that bad, but it's definitely not good either. There's some confusing licensing conflicts, lackluster gameplay and animations, and poor play selection, but at least try to add in some interesting features such as the power plays and random weather. If you have a choice in a football game, just skip this one and go play one of the many Madden games, though. You have anything else to add, Jers?
Not really.
No?
Nah.
Alright.
Let's go play some Madden.
I agree. Final score on this junk heap? 4 out of 10. This is Reaper.
And Jers.
Happy fragging. So, without further delay, fuck!
Blooper 1! That did not take long. I got an idea. How about you stop talking about how bad this piece of shit game is? Fuck! Wait. Before you even get to the title screen, we have the fucking intro to worry about. Don't let the,
It's taken us at least 5 times. It's probably going to take us another 20 more to get this damn line out. We're only about a minute in!
So I take it as you'll be playing as the Pittsburgh not Steelers. So I guess I'll take the fifth.
The fifth? didn't realize there was a city called the Fifth.
This sucks.
Why'd you still go? Fuck.
Yeah, of course not.
First, each is just either red or blue. There's no such thing as a team called Fuck. Team called Fuck.
Was that part of it?
Nope.